All right, let's dive into this. They
Right.
brought us a fascinating company to look
Yeah,
into
yeah.
Transformers and Rectifiers India Ltd,
Okay.
also known as Terrell,
hmm
and their Q3F25 performance has definitely caught some attention.
Yeah.
So we've got financials, we've got presentations, company profiles,
hmm
the whole nine yards. So are you ready to decode what all this really tells us
I think so.
about this Transformer powerhouse?
Absolutely. I'm ready to dive in,
I
and
like
yeah,
it.
seems like you're really wanting to get a good picture of where they stand, their history,
Right.
the industry, and what these latest results
Yes.
reveal about their future.
So I know they're a leading transformer manufacturer in India.
Uh-huh.
I believe the second largest based on capacity.
That's right.
But where do they come from and what's driving their current success?
Well, their story is really one of remarkable growth and ambition. And what's fascinating is it all started with a single individual, Mr. Jitendra Memtora.
Oh,
Back in 1980, he was actually repairing transformers.
wow. So a real hands-on
Yeah.
beginning. I bet that experience gave him a pretty solid foundation when he actually founded Terrell in '94.
Precisely. And initially,
Okay.
they were manufacturing transformers up to 110 kV class,
Wow.
and then just kept expanding and scaling up,
Oh, okay.
achieving some really significant milestones along the way.
Like going public in 2007 and raising a pretty hefty sum, Euro 39 crores.
You're exactly right. That's a big leap.
That's a big leap. And then they didn't stop there. They formed some pretty strategic alliances too.
Yeah, they did. You're right. Those partnerships were key.
Okay.
They teamed up with international companies like ZTR Ukraine
Okay.
to gain access to high voltage transformer technology.
Oh, yeah.
And they also secured a technology license
Yep.
from Fuji Electric Co.,
Oh.
Ltd.,
Wow.
for specialized reactor and generator transformers.
That's pretty incredible.
So yeah, clearly aiming for a global presence.
Yeah. And they've got it. The reach extends now to over 25 countries,
Uh-huh.
but they're not just like replicating existing technology.
Right.
They've been pioneers in innovation, haven't they?
Yeah.
Thinking about that 420 kV ester fluid-filled shunt reactor,
Yeah.
a world first.
Yes, that was significant achievement.
Yeah.
And it speaks to their commitment to finding environmentally sustainable solutions.
Right.
For those unfamiliar, a shunt reactor helps regulate the flow of power in high voltage transmission systems.
Okay.
And ester fluids are biodegradable and less flammable than traditional mineral oil.
Got it. So
So-
it's a win-win.
So a win for the environment and a testament to their
Yeah.
technical capabilities.
Absolutely.
But let's zoom out a bit because I don't want to get too bogged down in financials.
Sure.
Before we even get to that, paint me a picture of the transformer industry itself.
Okay.
Is it a thriving market?
It certainly is.
Transformers are kind of the unsung heroes of our electrical grid.
Okay.
They make it possible to generate, transmit, and distribute power effectively and safely.
Okay.
So think of them as kind of the essential intermediaries,
Okay.
stepping voltage up or down
Sure.
depending on where the power needs to go.
Okay. So essential, but is the market growing? I mean, everyone talks about renewables these days. So how does that impact the demand for transformers?
Well, that's a crucial point.
Like,
The global push for renewable energy sources like solar and wind
yeah.
is actually a huge driver of growth for the transformer industry.
Right.
Because you see, these renewable sources are often located far from where the power is needed,
Okay.
requiring extensive transmission networks
Mhm.
and specialized transformers designed for the unique characteristics of renewable energy.
So it's not just about making more transformers.
Yeah.
It's about making the right transformers for a changing energy landscape.
Precisely. And that's where companies like Terrell, with their focus on innovation and a diverse product portfolio,
Okay.
are really well positioned for success.
Okay.
They've already supplied over 500 transformers specifically for renewable energy
Wow.
projects. So they're not just riding the wave,
Right.
they're actively contributing to the
Yeah.
energy transition.
That makes a lot of sense. So speaking of their offerings, what kind of transformers does Terrell actually manufacture?
Yeah, their portfolio is
Oh, yeah.
quite diverse.
Right.
They cover the full spectrum
Oh,
from the massive power transformers used in high voltage transmission
wow.
to the smaller distribution transformers you might even see on utility poles
Oh, okay.
in your neighborhood.
Got it.
And they also produce specialized transformers for specific industries,
Like how?
like furnace transformers for melting metal and rectifier transformers that convert AC to DC power.
Okay, so real one-stop shop for transformer solutions.
Yeah, I think so.
And that diversification probably helps them weather any fluctuations in demand for particular types of transformers, right?
Absolutely. It's a smart strategy
Yeah.
for long-term stability and growth.
All right, so let's get to the reason we're here. Let's dive into those Q3 FY25 financials.
All right.
I'm hearing those numbers are pretty remarkable.
Well, let's
Yeah.
not get ahead of ourselves.
I'll
Let's
do it.
unpack them a bit.
Okay.
I mean, for starters, their revenue from operations also witnessed
Okay.
substantial growth,
Okay.
up by 49% year over year.
Wow.
It's not just about profits soaring.
Right.
Their core business is expanding rapidly as well.
That's good to hear.
Mm.
So let's actually get into the nitty-gritty of those financial statements.
Yeah.
Talking hard numbers here.
Mm-hmm.
What were their standalone and consolidated revenues for Q3?
So their standalone revenue from operations for Q3 FY25 hit 54,531 lakhs.
Okay.
And that's a significant growth compared to the same period last year.
Okay.
And if you factor in their subsidiaries,
Yeah.
their consolidated revenue reached an even higher figure,
Wow.
55,936 lakhs.
Okay, so their core business and their subsidiaries are both contributing to this success story.
Yeah.
But revenue is only part of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
What about their profitability?
Mhm.
Were they able to control costs while achieving this growth?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
To assess their operational profitability, we look at EBITDA,
Yeah.
which stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Okay.
And it gives us a clear picture of their earnings from their core operations.
So what does their EBITDA tell us?
So their standalone EBITDA for Q3 FY25 was a solid 8,696 lakhs,
Okay.
representing a remarkable 135% increase year over year.
Wow.
And their consolidated EBITDA reached 9,376 lakhs,
Okay.
a similarly impressive 134% jump
Okay.
from the same quarter last year.
Okay, so yes, they're managing costs effectively while growing their revenue.
Yes.
Which is a sign of a healthy and efficient operation.
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's good. That's a good sign. But let's not forget about profit margins.
Right.
Growing revenue is great,
Mm-hmm.
but if your margins are shrinking, it's not a sustainable picture.
Yeah.
So what can you tell me about their PT margins?
You're asking all the right questions.
Okay.
PT, or profit after tax margin, tells us what percentage of their revenue translates into actual profit
Okay.
after all expenses and taxes are accounted for.
Okay.
And the numbers here are encouraging.
Okay.
Their standalone PT margin jumped from 4% in Q3 FY24
Wow.
to a very healthy 9.12% in Q3 FY25.
That is healthy.
And their consolidated PT margin was even higher,
Right.
reaching 9.77%.
Wow. So not only are they growing,
Yeah,
but they're doing it profitably with expanding margins.
they are.
That's a compelling story for investors.
Mm-hmm.
What about their earnings per share? How did that figure look for Q3?
So their earnings per share, or EPS, tells us how much profit is attributed to each outstanding share of the company's stock.
Oh,
And here again, we see positive results.
okay.
Their standalone EPS surged to 7.50
Okay.
compared to a mere 40 pays
Wow.
in Q3 FY24.
Okay.
The consolidated EPS also saw a significant increase,
Mm.
reaching 8.11 versus 1.10
Okay.
the previous year.
Okay, so we've established their Q3 performance was stellar across the board.
Yeah, it's pretty
Good?
good and good.
But we need to look beyond just one quarter.
Right.
What does their order book tell us about their future prospects?
Well, according to their investor presentation,
Yeah.
their unexecuted order book as of December 31st, 2024,
Okay.
stands at a massive euro 3,686 crores.
Wow.
That represents a significant amount of future revenue already locked in.
That's a reassuring sign of continued momentum. But I'm curious, is that order book primarily driven by traditional power transformers?
Right.
Or are those specialized transformers for renewable energy playing a significant role?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the provided material doesn't give us
Yeah.
a detailed breakdown
Uh,
of their order book composition.
okay.
However, Given their strong positioning in the renewable energy sector,
Mm-hmm.
it's reasonable to assume that those specialized transformers are contributing significantly to
Right.
their future revenue stream.
Right.
But to get a truly accurate picture, we'd need more granular data.
Agreed. But even without that breakdown,
Yeah.
3,686 crore order book is nothing to sneeze at.
It's not bad.
And they've got even more in the pipeline, right? They mentioned something about
Mhm.
potential projects under
Yeah.
negotiation.
They did indeed.
Okay.
They indicated that they have over 19,000 crores worth of inquiries
Wow.
under negotiation.
That's a lot.
Now, of course, not all of those inquiries will convert into actual orders,
Right.
but it does point to a robust pipeline of potential projects,
Yes.
further strengthening their growth trajectory.
Okay, so we've established that Terrell is in a strong financial position with a healthy order book and a promising pipeline of future projects. But what are the specific factors driving this success?
Okay.
Is it simply a case of being in the right industry at the right time, or is there more to the story?
Well, I think it's a combination of factors, including some smart strategic decisions.
Like,
One key move that stands out is their
yeah.
focus on backward integration.
Now, for our listeners who might not be familiar with that term,
Sure.
could you briefly explain what backward integration means in this context?
Certainly. Backward integration essentially means that a company seeks to control its supply chain
Okay.
by acquiring or investing in businesses that supply its raw materials
Got it.
or critical components.
Yeah.
In Terrell's case, a prime example is their acquisition of a controlling stake in POSCO Paganam Electrical Steel,
Okay.
a CRGO processing unit.
And what is CRGO and why is it so important?
So CRGO stands for cold-rolled, grain-oriented steel,
Okay.
and it's a crucial component in transformer cores.
Okay.
It has special magnetic properties that make transformers more efficient.
Got it.
By securing a controlling stake in a CRGO processing unit,
Mm-hmm.
Terrell takes a major step
Okay.
towards ensuring a reliable and potentially cost-effective
Okay.
supply of this critical raw material.
So instead of relying on external suppliers, they're bringing that part of the process in-house,
You got it.
which seems like a pretty smart move, especially in an industry
Yeah.
where the demand for raw materials is likely to increase with the growing demand for transformers.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
This backward integration strategy helps them mitigate supply chain risks,
Mm-hmm.
potentially reduce costs,
Okay.
and gain greater control over the quality of their inputs.
So it's not just about making transformers.
Right.
It's about strategically managing your
Yeah.
entire operation
Yeah.
to ensure long-term success. But their backward integration strategy
Right.
isn't their only move.
Right.
They also mentioned
Yeah.
expanding their production capacity.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
They have a new 15,000 MVA capacity facility
Uh,
that's expected to come online soon.
So this expansion is a clear sign that they're anticipating continued growth in demand
Uh-huh.
and are taking proactive steps to
Yeah.
make sure they can meet that demand.
Exactly.
So smart acquisitions, capacity expansion, anything else.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting the feeling that Terrell isn't just riding the industry wave,
Yeah.
they're actively shaping it.
I think you're picking up on something very important here.
Okay.
Terrell is not just about size and scale.
Mm-hmm.
They're also focused on innovation and meeting specialized needs.
Yeah.
They're not simply churning out
Oh.
generic transformers. They're developing and manufacturing cutting-edge solutions
Got it.
tailored to the evolving needs of the
Yeah.
energy sector.
Can you give me like a specific example of that? Something that really highlights their focus on innovation.
Certainly. So they recently secured an order for 193 MVA
Okay.
single-phase STATCOM transformers.
And what are those?
STATCOM stands for Static Synchronous Compensator,
Okay.
and these transformers play a crucial role in stabilizing power grids,
Okay.
especially those integrating large amounts of renewable.
So they're like the traffic cops
That's a great analogy.
of the electric grid,
Yeah.
ensuring smooth flow, even with the intermittent nature of solar and wind power.
Yeah, and securing such a complex
All
and
right.
high-value order speaks volumes about Terrell's technical capabilities
Okay.
and their ability to cater to the specific needs of a rapidly changing energy landscape.
So they're not just making more transformers, they're making the right transformers for a future powered by cleaner and more sustainable energy sources.
Precisely. And this
Okay.
focus on innovation and specialized solutions
Yeah.
is, in my opinion, a key driver of their
Yep.
success.
Right.
It allows them to command premium pricing, secure high-value contracts,
Look.
and position themselves as a leader
Got it.
in a rapidly evolving industry.
Okay, so we've covered their history,
Mhm.
their impressive Q3 financials, and some of the strategic moves
Yeah.
that are driving their success.
Mhm.
But I'm curious, what do Terrell's leaders have to say
Okay.
about their future plans and outlook? Are they content with their current achievements, or are they aiming
I don't think
for
so.
even greater heights?
No, from what I've gathered,
Okay.
both Mr. Jitendra Mamtora, the chairman, and Mr. Satyen Mamtora, the managing director,
Okay.
have expressed ambitious
Okay.
goals for the company.
Okay.
They are setting their sights
Okay.
on achieving a revenue of US $1 billion
Wow.
within the next 3 financial years.
That's a bold target.
It is.
But given their track record
Yeah.
and current trajectory,
Yeah.
it doesn't sound
Well-
entirely out of reach.
It doesn't.
So what are some of the key strategies they've outlined to reach this ambitious goal?
Well, their roadmap includes a continued focus on innovation. Okay.
And expansion,
Okay.
both within India
Yeah.
and internationally.
Got it.
They've also hinted at further backward integration,
Okay.
aiming to secure technology agreements for 3 critical components. This suggests a drive to gain even greater control over their supply chain
Okay.
and enhance their production capabilities.
It sounds like they're pulling out all the stops to position Terrell as a dominant player in the global transformer market.
Yeah.
But they're not just aiming for growth's sake, are they?
No,
They've also emphasized sustainability as a
Yeah.
core value.
that's right. Their vision goes beyond just financial success.
Okay.
They're actively promoting the development and manufacturing of green transformers
Sure.
and reactors, aligning themselves with the global push
Got it.
for cleaner energy solutions.
Okay, so to sum it up, Terrell is a company on the move.
It seems to be.
They've got impressive Q3 results,
Yep.
a strong order book, ambitious growth plans,
Mhm.
a commitment to innovation.
And a focus on sustainability. That's quite a package.
It is a lot to unpack.
But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Sure.
I want to take a step back and look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
We focused on Terrell's individual success.
Mm-hmm.
But what does their story tell us about the broader trends
Okay.
shaping the transformer industry? Are they a unique case? Or are they
That's an excellent
a
question.
harbinger of things to come for other players in the market?
And one that deserves a closer look.
Okay.
To understand where Terrell fits into the larger
Yeah.
industry landscape,
Uh-huh.
we need to delve into the forces
Right.
shaping the transformer industry
Got it.
as a whole.
All right. Sounds like we've got another layer to explore.
Okay.
Let's jump right in.
Let's do it. So you're curious about the forces shaping the transformer industry as a whole and where Terrell fits within that larger landscape.
Exactly. I mean, we've established that Terrell is doing incredibly well, but are they an outlier or are they riding a wave that's lifting other boats as well?
It's a great question. And to answer it, we need to understand the key trends driving the global transformer market. One of the most significant, as we touched upon earlier, is the rise of renewable energy.
Oh.
As countries worldwide transition away from fossil fuels and embrace solar, wind, and other renewable sources, the demand for specialized transformers is skyrocketing.
That makes sense. We need transformers to move that renewable energy from where it's generated, often in remote locations, to where it's needed, our homes, businesses, and industries.
Precisely. And it's not just about the sheer volume of energy being transmitted.
Mm-hmm.
It's also about the unique characteristics of renewable sources. Solar and wind power, for example, are intermittent.
Right.
Their output fluctuates depending on the weather conditions.
Okay.
This creates new challenges for grid stability, and transformers need to be designed to handle these fluctuations effectively.
So we're not just talking about replacing old transformers with new ones. We're talking about a whole new generation of transformers that are smarter, more adaptable, and more efficient.
You're absolutely right. The transformers of the future need to be more than just passive components.
Wow.
They need to be active participants in managing and optimizing the flow of power across the grid.
Uh-huh.
They need to be able to communicate with each other,
Interesting.
share data, and even adjust their performance in real time to ensure grid stability.
Wow. That sounds incredibly complex.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think that those familiar metal boxes we see on utility poles are evolving into such sophisticated pieces of technology.
It is quite remarkable, and it's driving a wave of innovation within the transformer industry.
Yeah.
Companies are investing heavily in research and development,
Okay.
exploring new materials, advanced control systems, and intelligent monitoring capabilities.
So it sounds like the transformer industry is becoming a high-tech industry. Who would have thought?
It's a fascinating evolution, and it's blurring the lines between traditional manufacturing and cutting-edge technology.
Mm.
In fact, we're seeing a growing trend of collaboration between transformer manufacturers and tech companies as they combine their expertise to develop these next-generation solutions.
So it's not just about competition within the industry, it's also about strategic partnerships that leverage different areas of expertise.
Exactly. And that's another area where Terrell seems to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah?
Remember their plans to secure technology agreements for 3 critical components?
Yes.
Those agreements likely involve partnerships with companies that have specialized knowledge in areas like materials, science, software development, or advanced manufacturing processes.
So by forming these alliances, they can access the latest technologies and innovations without having to build everything from scratch in-house.
Right.
It's a smart strategy for staying agile and competitive in a rapidly evolving market.
Precisely. And it suggests that Terrell is not content with simply maintaining their current position.
Right.
They are actively seeking to shape the future of the transformer industry.
Okay, so we've got this massive shift towards renewables driving the demand for specialized transformers. And we've got this parallel trend of increasing technological sophistication within the industry itself. What other factors are at play here? What other challenges and opportunities are transformer manufacturers facing?
Well, one challenge that cannot be ignored is the environmental impact. Traditional transformers use mineral oil for insulation and cooling, which, as you know, raises concerns about potential spills and contamination.
Right. And as the world becomes more focused on sustainability, those concerns are only going to grow.
Exactly. And the industry is responding.
Yeah.
There's a growing movement towards using biodegradable and less flammable alternatives, such as ester fluids.
Okay.
Remember Terrell's 420 kV ester fluid-filled shunt reactor?
Yes.
That's a prime example of this shift towards more environmentally friendly solutions.
So they're not only innovating in terms of technology, but also in terms of sustainability.
That's right.
And that's likely to give them a competitive advantage, especially as regulations and customer preferences evolve.
Absolutely. It's no longer enough to simply make the most efficient or cost-effective transformer.
Right.
You also need to consider its environmental footprint, and companies like Terrell, who are proactive in this area, are likely to be rewarded by the market.
Okay, so we've got a lot of moving pieces here. Renewable energy driving demand, technological advancements, changing the nature of transformers and environmental considerations, pushing for more sustainable solutions. It sounds like a pretty dynamic and challenging industry to be in.
It certainly is, but it's also an industry full of opportunities for companies that can adapt, innovate, and meet the evolving needs of a changing world.
And it seems like Terrell is doing just that. They've positioned themselves at the forefront of this transformation, and their recent performance suggests that their strategy is paying off.
I agree. They're a company to watch, both for their individual success and for what they tell us about the future of the transformer industry as a whole.
Well, this has been a fascinating exploration of the transformer landscape. We've moved from Terrell's specific achievements to a broader understanding of the trends shaping the entire industry. It's amazing how even a seemingly mundane topic like transformers can reveal so much about the future of energy and technology.
It just goes to show that there's always more to learn and that even the most essential components of our modern world are constantly evolving.
Speaking of evolution, I'm curious to go back to Terrell's origins and trace their journey from a small repair shop to a global player. It seems like there are some valuable lessons to be learned from their story.
I agree. Let's rewind a bit and explore their journey from those humble beginnings to their current success.
All right, so we've talked about the big picture trends shaping the transformer industry, but let's zoom back in on Terrell. We know they're thriving now, but how did they get here? It's time to trace their evolution from those humble beginnings as a transformer repair shop to the global player they are today.
Their story is really a testament to vision adaptability and a relentless pursuit of excellence. It all began with Mr. Jitendra Mantora's passion for transformers, that hands-on experience, that deep understanding of how these complex machines worked, laid the foundation for everything that followed.
It's that classic story of turning your passion into a business, but doing it with a clear understanding of the market need. He wasn't just tinkering. He saw an opportunity to provide a valuable service.
Exactly, and he didn't go it alone.
Right.
He brought in his wife, Mrs. Karuna J. Mamtora, and his son, Mr. Satyan J. Mamtora, to be part of the journey.
Okay.
That suggests a strong belief in shared values and a commitment to building something lasting,
Yeah.
something that could be passed down to future generations.
There's definitely something to be said for that family business dynamic, that sense of shared purpose. It can be a powerful driver of success, especially in the early stages of a company's growth.
And in Terrell's case, it seems to have fostered a culture of both innovation and resilience. They've consistently pushed the boundaries of transformer technology while also navigating the ups and downs of the market.
So let's talk timelines. They were officially incorporated in 1994, initially under the name Triveni Electric Company Limited. Then a year later, they adopted the name we know them by today, Transformers and Rectifiers India Ltd.
And right from the start,
Yeah.
they set ambitious goals. By 1998, they had already achieved ISO 9001-2000 certification
Wow.
for their design, manufacturing, and servicing of various types of transformers.
Right.
That early commitment to quality standards sent a clear signal to the market they were serious players.
It's like they had a roadmap from the beginning, build a solid foundation based on technical expertise, quality, and customer satisfaction, and then use that foundation to expand and innovate.
Precisely, and they followed that roadmap meticulously.
Okay.
They steadily expanded their manufacturing facilities, first in Ahmedabad, then branching out to other locations as they grew. They increased their production capacity, invested in new technologies, and constantly sought ways to improve their processes.
And they weren't afraid to take calculated risks. Like in 2006, when they acquired another manufacturing facility in Oudhuv, that was a significant step in their expansion journey.
And the very next year, in 2007, they
Right.
took another bold step. They went public, listing their shares on both the Bombay Stock Exchange, BSE, and the National Stock Exchange of India, NSE.
Okay.
That move gave them access to capital that fueled their further growth and expansion.
It's interesting to note that even as they were growing and scaling their operations, they never lost sight of that core value of quality. They invested heavily in testing facilities and equipment, ensuring that their transformers met the highest industry standards.
Absolutely. In an industry like power transmission and distribution,
Yeah.
where reliability is paramount, quality cannot be compromised.
Right.
And Terrell clearly understood that from the very beginning.
And that commitment to quality has clearly paid off. They've earned a reputation for reliability, which is essential for securing those high-value contracts with major players in the energy sector.
They've also been strategic in forming partnerships and collaborations. Their alliances with companies like ZTR Ukraine and Fuji Electric, as we discussed earlier, have given them access to cutting-edge technologies and expanded their capabilities.
It's that classic idea of collaboration over competition,
Yeah.
right? By partnering with established players, they've been able to accelerate their own innovation and enter new markets more effectively.
Precisely. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
The established players gain access to Terrell's expertise in specific areas, while Terrell benefits from the established players' resources and networks.
And they've also been smart about leveraging their domestic success to expand internationally.
Yeah.
They've secured projects in over 25 countries, showcasing their ability to compete on a global stage.
It's a testament to the quality and reliability of their products, but also to their ability to adapt to different market conditions and regulatory requirements.
So it's clear that Terrell's journey has been marked by strategic decision-making, a commitment to excellence, and a willingness to embrace both collaboration and risk-taking. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to touch on one more element that has contributed to their success, their incredibly diverse product portfolio.
That's right. As we discussed earlier, they don't just make one type of transformer.
Right.
They offer a whole range of solutions catering to a wide spectrum of needs across various industries.
And that diversification has been a key driver of their resilience and growth, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It allows them to weather fluctuations in demand for specific types of transformers and tap into new markets as they emerge. It's a smart strategy for long-term stability and sustainable growth.
So as we conclude this deep dive into Terrell, what stands out to you as their most significant achievement?
For me, it's their remarkable transformation from a small family-run repair shop to a global powerhouse in the power industry. And they've done it through a combination of technical expertise, a relentless focus on quality strategic partnerships, and a deep understanding of their customers' needs.
I couldn't agree more. Their story is an inspiration not just for aspiring entrepreneurs, but for anyone seeking to build something meaningful and lasting. It's a reminder that success is often the result of passion, perseverance, and a willingness to adapt and evolve.
Well said. And as we've seen, their story is also a reflection of the larger trends shaping the transformer industry and the future of energy itself.
This has been an incredible journey exploring not just a company's financials, but also its history, its values, and its role in a rapidly changing world.
It's a testament to the power of curiosity and the importance of seeking deeper understanding.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've gained valuable insights, and as always, we encourage you to stay curious.